Savvy Mike, and this is I Am Savvy Mike TV. And apparently, Hassan Campbell is taking shots at Queenzflip for defending DJ Akademiks. Let's listen.
It's a look of disgust, right? I was listening. I don't really listen, and I don't really like other people's opinions like that, but I was listening to some other cats. I ain't gonna even say their name because I don't want to seem like I'm throwing shots at them, but because it's not. I understand where they're coming from, but I don't respect it. So, with that being said, with the situation with academics, right? Some people feel like academics didn't do anything wrong because dudes talk like that in the hood all the time. Well, shall we begin? Can I give you my response? You know, there's a lot of things that we picked up in the hood from the older cats that was wrong. A hell of a lot of things. Like, I'll take you back. You ever heard that song? I'll take you back, right? To them days when I was in junior high school, and when it was time to get a girlfriend, you know that, a teenage love. Don't hurt me again. Don't hurt me again. When it was time to get a teenage love, it was kind of hard because the girls that you wanted, that you really wanted, there was some old head swerving, pulling up with EPMD, the headbangers, say you want, whatever you need, yeah, you know, playing Special Aid. I got it made. So you coming out of school and you waiting to holler at shorty, but she's jumping her young ass in a old man's car. So we was taught in the hood, when girls be like, oh, them dudes is nasty, we was taught by the older generation that it was nothing wrong for you to date, for you to be 10 years older than the girls you was dating. Right? So now let me ask you a question. Does that make it right? See, in the hood, you got dudes that was in the hood. By the time they turned 13 years old, they caught their first body at 13. But every kid is not the same. Every kid hasn't been raised the same way. So in the hood, you had older dudes, right? They was killers and drug dealers. And when they seen you doing certain things, they would rough you up and tell you to go to school. And they were serious about that. And when you seen their face and their anger, you knew that those specific OGs in the hood, even though that they was doing wrong, they wanted you to do right. But then it's the other cats that they was talking about, that they be talking about. Well, you know, dudes do that all the time in the hood. Sit up there, talk to you about grown conversations that you shouldn't be talking about, corrupt you, because they're corrupted. See, in the hood, just because you were shaped and molded by somebody that was a piece of shit, it doesn't make it right. It's sort of like, you ever notice that you couldn't play hooky in your house? You knew when 7:30 came, you knew to be outside that house on public transportation on your school bus going to school. You knew that you couldn't play hooky or you couldn't get caught not going to school in your house. But you always had, it's sort of like Jim Jones, right? When Cameron said, Jim Jones came to him and was like, yo, you want to come to my crib? Like, for what? For what? For what? Then after a while, you start to realize, like, you know what? I can't bring shorty to my mom's house. She gonna curse me out. And it's probably kids running around. We got people in my house. So you always had that house that you can go to that was lawlessness. Yeah, it was lawlessness. The things that your parents wouldn't let you do, Well, these parents will let you do. See, in the hood, because you learned some disruptive ways when you was young, it doesn't make it right. So when y'all dudes be sitting up here getting on this platform and trying to justify like, yo, you know, that happens in the hood all the time. No, Akademiks was 110% wrong, corrupting that little boy. And that's why his numbers, his channel, and his pockets and everything around him is being affected like that, because there's people out there in this world that ain't gonna stand by and watch evil. That conversation that he had with that child was evil. And anybody who tries to justify it is evil. You don't corrupt innocence. But the world that we live in, yeah, there's a lot of you out there. Y'all don't have no problem with it. Corrupting evil. And I don't care how old you was when you was living a life of crime, or how old you was when you started to be hot in your ass. Just because you was raised wrong, you was led wrong, and you was you was young and fresh, that does not mean that the young generation should be introduced to the path and the steps of evil. Because that's what it is. Introducing these kids to a life of sin. That's what's wrong with the black community right now. Everybody having unlawful sex that's leading to unlawful children. And you wonder why the world is the way it is, the ghetto is the way it is. There is no justifying what Akademiks did. There is no justifying, because people in our time, the older dudes that was outside on the block, most of them, they led us to the hellfire, aka the penitentiary. They led us to an early grave. But the one thing that they didn't lead us to was the promised land. They didn't lead us to the land of milk and honey. And then they brag and they boast about being the illest nigga in Nebraska. I'm the illest. You brag and you boast about that, but y'all ain't no Christopher Columbus. Y'all all bout it. Is he bout it, fool? You bout it. But you're not a Christopher Columbus. You didn't lead us to the land of milk and honey. You didn't take something on this earth and carve it out for us as a people. Nope. You just went to jail, came home with the jail mentality, and now you're like, we're back. Like you never left. It's time for grown men to stand on principle.
Understandable, Hassan. And I get everything Hassan's saying here. And I get why a lot of people feel how Hassan feels in this situation in a moment. Like I said, I've gave my 2 cents and my change to this topic. That's my opinion. I wouldn't call it justifying what Act did, because at the end of the day, I do still find it weird. I'm standing on that. It was weird. He shouldn't have said those things to a 15-year-old. But I'm still also standing on the fact that if we're going to hang Akademiks for saying those things to a 15-year-old, then we need to hang the whole streaming community for all the shit that they do while minors are looking and watching. If that's what we want to do. If we want to play holier than thou, then let's fucking play holier than thou. That's just my opinion. That's just my 2 cents in a lot of ways. But that's just me. I can understand why someone would disagree. And I can understand why someone would agree. Either way, it is what it is. The situation needs to go and die down and just get the hell off of my feed. I'm tired of it. But Queenzflip has been receiving a lot of backlash for the things he said on the Joe Budden podcast, seemingly defending DJ Akademiks. So, sounds like Hassan Campbell was responding to Queenzflip. I don't know. That's the way the person on Twitter put it. Either way, let me know what you think in the comments below. I am Savvy Mike. And of course, as always, this is I Am Savvy Mike TV. Peace.